Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of 10th Inning Talk. I'm your girl April, also known as All About April 3 on all social media platforms, and I'm here to deliver the latest and greatest in both professional and collegiate softball and baseball news. As you know, I am also a part of the Black Baseball Mixtape brand, which is delivering great content to you on social media through podcasts such as mine, Flobo Voices podcast, In the Booth with Flobo Boys. He's had some incredible guests as of recently. Malik Buttermain Baseball on IG also is writing on the Substack. So you want to make sure you go in, check that out. He's ranking shortstops and second basemen. Do yours match his? That's the important question. And then, of course, Cheats. He's out there. He's doing it all. He was just at the World Baseball Classic in Miami, and he's been delivering great content regarding it. So, as always, we're here to deliver it. And you also want to make sure you join the Black Baseball Mixtapes Discord. A lot of great discussions are happening over that way. But without further ado, let's hop into today's episode, which I have titled the World Baseball Classic, because if you've been following me, you know I've been posting about it. I actually attended 4 games, and I want to tell you all about my experience, all about what actually happened during the WBC, and my takes on those things. But before I hop into the WBC, I also had some other wonderful opportunities that came my way, beginning with the Bruce Bolt College Classic, also at Dyken Park here in Houston, Texas. So I was able to get media credentials not long before it occurred, which was a week before the WBC. And it was just a really, really great time. There were 6 college teams that participated: Ole Miss, Coastal Carolina, UTSA, the University of Texas at San Antonio, Texas Longhorns. There was also Baylor and the Ohio State Buckeyes. And so I was out there on my lonesome. No other Black Baseball Mixtape members were there, but it was great to be able to have that experience. I definitely was doing a lot of running around back and forth with getting access to the field. But I also got an incredible interview with the VP of Bruce Bolt, which is Eric Mays, and that is on my podcast, also on my YouTube channel. So please make sure you check that out as well. We talked about some great things regarding Bruce Bolt, the future of college with Bruce Bolt's materials, their supplies, and their equipment, and also what exactly is happening with the PSL, the newly formed Professional Softball League, being that Eric Mays is also the GM of the Atlanta Smoke. So just some wonderful things happening. But while there, I met some wonderful people. I actually got a very free sliding mitt. I passed it on to a friend of mine for her son. But to see people just being excited about baseball was a wonderful thing. One of the interviews that I got was from a man who played for Ole Miss like 30 years prior. How incredible is that, first off? And funny story, I was sitting in the audience waiting to go back and do interviews at a later time because, you can't be on the field the whole time. And while I was sitting trying to get footage from where I was, I had my tripod next to me, and he's like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "It's my tripod." And he's like, "Well, I know that. I use it for my job." And I'm like, "Okay." And I'm like, "Do you want to be interviewed?" And he's like, "No." And then his daughter tells me he played for Ole Miss years ago. I'm like, "Oh, no, sir. You have got to give me an interview. I promise it won't be long. It'll be it'll be worth it. And that's exactly what the Bruce Bolt Classic gave you. It gave you players who have committed to continuing to supporting their alma maters. It gave you future people who will ultimately play for these teams. And then it gave you just lifelong fans. And I appreciated being in the midst of all of them. So if you haven't checked out my content on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, on my Facebook, 10th Inning Talk, I have one of those too. Make sure you check it out because it was just beautiful to be able to see so many people engaged with college baseball the way that they were. I also got a chance to interview a couple of players from Coastal Carolina. Super nice guys. The whole team, in fact. The whole team were super nice, including Coach Schnall. I will also say the Baylor coach, Coach Thompson, he was super nice too. He was asking me questions about me, my shirt, my podcast. And it was just wonderful to see that level of support from people, being that, again, I was on my own on this journey and, trying to figure things out, but they made me very comfortable. The Ohio State players also super nice, willing to give what was necessary for me, and I really, really appreciated that. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get much from Ole Miss, but I think getting their alma mater definitely closed that gap for that, and also wasn't able to get much from it was just a great time for me to be able to have that. So if you saw me running around, I was trying to I had to go through a certain lounge to be able to get to the field, and then get back to wherever I needed to be to do other interviews while I was in the vicinity. But yes, you need to make sure you're at the Bruce Bolt College Classic next year. They had free photo booths. They were giving away free gifts. It was just a great, great time. So not only that, y'all know college baseball and softball is happening, and we are literally within conference play right now for both softball and baseball. And in baseball, UCLA, they're handling business. They're doing their thing. But they're not the team with the least amount of wins. It's actually USC. And when I say USC, the University of Southern California. They only have one loss currently. One. I'm very anxious to see exactly how this weekend goes as they play the University of Washington, who is unranked. But can the University of Southern California maintain their one-loss status? Because I don't remember the last time they've had this kind of record and this kind of play, but really excited to see it. Also in softball, this past weekend, crazy. I know a lot has been going on with the WBC, World Baseball Classic, but Tennessee, the University of Tennessee, had their very first loss versus Mississippi State. Texas Tech was run ruled 9-0. And you also saw the University of Oklahoma take another loss. It's just so much happening within all of the worlds, which is why you need to be paying attention. But you also can make sure you're following me, because every week I give you some games that you should be following so that you do not miss what is happening. One of my series to watch this past weekend was Mississippi State versus Tennessee, and lo and behold, look what happened. One of my series to watch was Texas Tech, and look what happened. And let's not also forget my heart, LSU baseball. Began the season ranked number 2. In some polls, 1. Y'all, they're not even ranked anymore. They're not ranked anymore. And blessed be, I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say because, we're defending champs. Is this the sacrifice we have to make in order for our football team to be significant again? I don't know. I'm not feeling it at all. The girls, they ain't doing too hot either. Well, they're not doing as well as I would like to see them do. So they're always going to be on my watch list. But this weekend, LSU will be playing the University of Oklahoma in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So make sure that you are locked in for all content. And every Thursday or Friday, I'll be posting my teams / series to watch for the upcoming weekend, specifically for you. But without further ado, I know what you're waiting for. You're waiting to know about my World Baseball Classic experience. And let me tell you how this came about. So after the 2023 World Baseball Classic, actually, as I was watching the 2023 World Baseball Classic, for those of you who are new to baseball / softball, and this was your first experience of it, it's been going on since about 2006. And the United States won one time in 2017. It's mostly been won by Japan, Dominican Republic won once, Puerto Rico won once, and of course, Venezuela won it this year. But I was watching it in 2023, and it was held in Miami, Florida, and also Phoenix, Arizona. And I just felt like I have to be there. There's no way that I can miss this kind of baseball event again. And it became just one of those moments. I put it on my vision board. I was like, it's a must event for me to go to. Had money on the side and everything. And in fact, I was set to go to like 5 games. And some things happened. I was sick for the USA versus Italy game. I was not able to attend that one. But I definitely was able to attend. I was at USA versus Great Britain. And I like to call that one American Revolution Part 3. It began right off the bat great for Great Britain because they hit a home run off of Tarek Skubal. And then it went downhill, which is how it ultimately went for Great Britain for the most part. And it was very, very unfortunate because they came out with a lot of energy. The issue for them was pitching. So, and then I went the next day. A friend of mine gave me tickets to go and watch Italy versus Great Britain. And also the same thing, Great Britain started off exciting, but they weren't able to maintain that hold and that lead. But Italy is exactly who they think they are, and they are exactly what you saw on the TV. They're also like huge. Also loved their espresso celebrations. They have a whole espresso machine in their dugout where they had the celebration and they gave the little cheek kisses, and it was just everything. At the USA versus Great Britain game, you saw a lot of people in like the British attire, and just a wonderful experience. And then, of course, like I said, I wasn't able to go to USA versus Italy due to illness, but I did make it to USA versus Canada. And there's an interesting story behind this because when I was looking to buy tickets, I was like, which one should I go to, Dad? And he was like, Friday after work, you might be tired, blah, blah, blah. So I ended up getting quarterfinal 2. Well, later on, in the MLB app, when you go to purchase the ticket, they have, if USA wins, they will play on this night. Literally on the ticket. So I'm like, I probably need to buy this ticket. Not knowing that USA ultimately, they lose a game. They lose to Italy, and we're almost facing elimination. So that's how I ended up going to quarterfinals 1 and 2. And in quarterfinal 1, it was USA versus Canada, which USA defeated Canada, and then they make it on to the Dominican Republic. But that Saturday, I made it to see Puerto Rico versus Italy. Y'all, when I was walking down the street, it was live. Like, you just could feel the energy already. But when I walked into Dyken Park, people had instruments, they were singing, and I was like, what is happening here? Because I haven't seen this all week, and I've been in multiple games. The Puerto Rican fans were everything. And I said this on my TikTok. Y'all should have warned me. My Latino brothers and sisters, y'all did not warn me. Thankfully, I wore comfortable shoes, because if I hadn't, I would have been very, very upset, because they stand up and cheer the whole game. 2 outs, 2 strikes, somebody comes, Eddie Rosario comes up to bat. They cheering, and I'm cheering with them. Martin Maldonado, they love him too. But it was just an experience to be around people who take such pride within themselves, but also take pride in a game that I too love. And I absolutely loved being a part of that. And that was a very similar experience that you saw in Pool D, which was in Miami, Florida. If you go on anyone's social media who was in Miami, especially people, content creators who were there, you got to see the full-blown excitement of the fans, because they were literally amongst them. And even Nicaragua, I don't even know if Nicaragua won a game. That did not stop them from cheering. That did not stop them from being excited to be there. And let me also add, Nicaragua had one of my favorite uniforms. They just gave the best energy. And so did the Dominican Republic. And I was just happy that we got to experience pure joy from the WBC. Because it's not often that we get to see that within Major League Baseball. And I'm going to talk about that. Y'all might not like my opinion, but I'm definitely going to give it. But I just really, really appreciated seeing so many people excited about the experience that they got being amongst other baseball fans, but also taking pride within their country. And it's something that many of us, we don't get to see. So for me, I feel like Great Britain, they had fun, but pitching was their issue. Italy, the espresso celebrations, love it so much. And they're huge, like really big. Mexico had the best uniforms on the field. And I was very disappointed in Mexico's play. Because that Mexico-USA game, that's why I ain't went, y'all. The lowest tickets, nosebleeds, were running Beyonce Price's tickets, and your girl wasn't going to do it unless somebody was going to trick on me. So, yeah, didn't happen. Brazil, very young. Very young, inexperienced. I would like to say the same thing about Panama, Cuba, Colombia. Like, very inexperienced, and they have a little ways to go. But the most exciting teams of this 2026 WBC, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and Venezuela. Like, they just gave everything. And it was exciting because we were like, what else are they going to give us? And I feel like that was the whole atmosphere of Pool D/Miami. Let me also say, if you watched it in 2023, that was just Pool D, and I'm going to come back to that. But I want to talk about some differences between the Miami and the Houston areas, what they gave. So when I talked to Cheats and Lewis Brinson, they talked about how they had like live BPs, live batting practices. We did not get that in Houston. They did have a fan zone you saw everybody on the field. When I say everybody was on the field. And there were just so many people excited to be in the vicinity, but fans walking in with their instruments. Even Japan, we're not going to forgive them, because Japan, they had instruments and it was so beautiful. Even though Japan lost, they literally gave a final bow to the fans, and I just really appreciated that, because it just shows the honor and respect that they not just have for us as fans, but also for the sport of baseball. So it was beautiful to see, and if you haven't seen it, go watch it. They too had instruments and were cheering up a storm. But I will say, I feel like Houston went out of their way to do certain things for fans. We had a food passport. So they gave you a little booklet, and each of the countries that participated at Daikin Park, they had 3 separate things within that booklet. And it gave you the opportunity to try foods or maybe a drink or a dessert from those areas. And if you tried it and you stamped it, you would be eligible for a prize at that particular passport little table. Beautiful. That did not exist in Miami. They also had baseballs that were colored in the flags of the countries that participated at Daikin Park. Loved it. I took pictures on my social media page. If you haven't seen it, please go to my WBC stories. They also had this glove chair. It was giving Game of Thrones chair, if you know what the Game of Thrones chair I'm talking about. I got a picture in it, but it was just wonderful to have that experience. For each game, I think for 3 games, I got towels. The only game I did not get a towel for was USA versus Great Britain. But yeah, they gave me a towel for every game that I walked into the building for. And I love that. So Houston, they showed out, because I definitely was waving my orange flag at the Puerto Rico Italy game. So I'm very, very happy, because this was a bucket list item for me. But let me also say that part of the reason why I love this was because of what I saw in 2023. And what I saw was the excitement of Team USA, Team Puerto Rico. And I will tell y'all, Team Puerto Rico was my absolute favorite team of 2023. I cannot stop talking about it. I will not stop talking about it. And the fact that I had a chance to experience them in 2026, it was everything that I believed that they were. It was. So 2023, everyone had their hair dyed blonde, including the managers and coaches. And you just got this energy. Pool D in 2023, they called it the death pool. It was Puerto Rico, Venezuela, it was Dominican Republic, and on every single broadcast, you had people saying, oh, Dominican Republic, they're going to take it. They're going to win it all. They're going to do it all. And they didn't even make it out of Pool D. Didn't even make it out of Pool D. Because in the first pool round, it goes by the number of wins and runs. And yeah, they did not make it. Venezuela went undefeated in that particular pool. And Puerto Rico came out second in that pool. So Puerto Rico ended up moving on and gave the same thing. I'm talking about, there was Javi Baez, there was Kike Hernandez, there was Edwin Diaz, before he got injured. It was just, it gave everything. You have to go and find the footage, because I am telling you, what y'all saw from Nicaragua, Puerto Rico this year, and Dominican Republic, that Puerto Rico gave all of that on their own. Like they were everything in 2023. But Team USA, we got to talk about it because I've seen all the comments and I wanted to reserve my thoughts about Team USA for this particular podcast. And I saw the comments. They're boring. They're stiff. They're giving military. Do they even like it? Do they want to be there? Are they having fun? And I'm going to be honest with y'all. Number one, do you know the players who were actually participated in this WBC? Because if you did, that's not a question you're going to ask. This is their personalities all the time. Like, y'all were literally making jokes that Paul Skeens had that little smile smirk when Bobby Witt Jr. did the plays, that the magic he was doing at shortstop. And it was funny because even Livy Dunn was like, I guess he's taken me over. Bobby Witt has, because it was just incredible to be able to see. But very stoic. Aaron Judge, great player, very serious. Cal Riley, not even fist bumping his own teammates that he plays with in Seattle. And so I'm just kind of shocked that a lot of you are shocked that this is the energy that they gave when this is who they are. Y'all, and I don't want y'all to think that I'm making an excuse for them, but I feel like y'all are placing an expectation on them that's just not part of who they are as human beings. But I also believe that a big part of this is it's how the United States celebrates baseball. And y'all aren't going to like it because I saw someone else say, no, it's not. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Y'all don't like bat flips. You don't like home run celebrations. You don't like when people come out of the dugouts. You rush people around the bases. And this is not just from umpires. This is from anybody who does it. And I'm going to apply it to other sports too. Because a lot of you who were calling Team USA stiff were just talking about Shedeur Sanders the whole 2025 season. Did y'all forget? I didn't forget. Because I distinctly remember a lot of y'all on Threads speaking negatively about the fact that this young man was being drafted, about his excitement and passion for play. Y'all called him arrogant. Y'all called him cocky. And people were doing the exact same thing. And I remember saying, a lot of you are misinterpreting passion and excitement for arrogance. And look what happened. You got on a world stage and watched everybody else show joy except for you. Because you've been conditioned to believe that you have to give this stoic interpretation of the game. I talked about this on the Black Baseball Mixtape. I remember last year when Jared Jones of LSU was playing well into the morning. This could have been 1:32 in the morning. And he hits a walk-off home run and gives LSU the victory. And he's, slowly moving around to first base. And the ump is like, hurry up and move. And he's like, the game is over. What are we talking about here? Because exactly what are you going to do? But why does he have to rush around the bases? There's another story of a young man who was literally doing the fool, like around the bases. And I don't want to say doing the fool, but he was acting up. He was showing some extreme passion. And the team was upset. Like, they walked off the field, even though they had instigated stuff prior to that. I don't know if y'all remember that. Same thing. But now, that you get to watch other teams show their joy, it's a completely different story. But let's go back to 2023 because I want to tell you the people who played on this roster so that you have a full understanding of why I said it's not the team per se, it's just their personalities. You have Mike Trout, Captain Mike Trout, Mookie Betts, Tim Anderson. And this is why I will never let y'all tell me anything negatively about Tim Anderson, because he was definitely Mr. Hype Man. He played second base, even though he never played second base a day in his life prior to this, because we all know Tim Anderson is a shortstop. And did his duty. With fidelity. Amazing. You had Kyle Tucker, Pete Alonso. You had Sid Mullins. You had Will Smith. Kyle Schwarber was cheering out there too. And he typically is, a little bit more demure. He might give a little bit 2026 Team USA. But no, he was out there cheering. They gave a different kind of energy. Go pull up the videos. But it does matter who you choose to play on the teams, because the energy that they bring, it sets it off for everyone else. I don't want to get biblical, but even the Bible says bad company corrupts good character. So who you're around, it does matter. That energy, when you walk into a room, you can feel when the energy shifts. And I'm a little bit, I do wonder how this was described to many of the players, because you hear them say after, like, oh, this was such an amazing experience, even though their level of excitement and passion may not have displayed it on the field. But Tarik Skubal wanted to stay, but he's like, no, I have to go back. And what was the description to get you there? So I'm not trying to take up for the 2026 season, but I do feel like we are placing certain expectations on them when that's just not who they are. And it's not fair for us to assume that they should accept those types of behaviors and responsibilities when our society does not dictate that kind of celebration in any form or part of the game. Why? Because you're going to call it bad sportsmanship. And tell me I'm lying, because I'm not. I'm not lying in any form. But you want to see excitement somewhere? Watch a softball game. No. Watch a softball game. They're cheering. They're excited. They're coming out of the dugout for home run. Like, watch a softball game. I think a lot of what your expectations are already exist, but it doesn't really happen on the baseball side. You absolutely will see it within the softball leagues, which are here because we do have the AUSL and the PSL, Athletes Unlimited Softball League, and the Professional Softball League. But ultimately, Team USA, they lose to Team Venezuela in the finals and on another strikeout. Because if you remember in 2023, it was Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout. They were teammates at the time on the Los Angeles Angels, and Shohei Ohtani strikes out Mike Trout to give Japan another World Baseball Classic championship. But at this time, that wasn't the case. And Team Venezuela wins their very first World Baseball Classic. And I don't want to be the participation trophy type person. I do feel like we all won. We all got to experience what joy looks like for a sport that we love. And I'm happy that this introduced so many other people into baseball and most likely softball. People who never thought that it could be fun. People who never thought that it could have this level of excitement and passion. And I want us to continue to carry that on. So now there are talks of people wanting to implement it in the middle of Major League Baseball season during All-Star break. And I don't know. I would love to hear your thoughts. Please send me a message on social media and let me know your thoughts about that. I will say initially I was kind of like, absolutely not. But with the fact that a lot of people don't even play in the All-Star games anymore, maybe that'll be a way to get people to do it, because I do know that someone want to play again. Kyle Schwarber played in both 2023 and the 2026 WBC. So just a lot happened within there, and some teams will have to requalify. So in Pool A, that's going to be Panama. If you came out last place, you will have to requalify. In Pool B, that'll be Brazil. In Pool C, Czechia, or Czech Republic. And then Pool D, Nicaragua. So we will see if they will be able to requalify. It was exciting to see Australia have a good run. I was very excited to see there were 3 games that I really wanted to see the entire WBC. USA versus Mexico, Korea versus Japan, and the Dominican Republic versus Venezuela. And they did not disappoint at all. They didn't disappoint. So we are definitely on the right path, I feel, in regards to the journey of where baseball and softball are taking us. And I'm so happy to take you on this journey with me so that you also can have the experience to understand why I love this sport so much. I'm so happy that my dad introduced me to it. It's why, and shout out to my dad for making my sweatshirt. I love it so much. Of course, I love my dad too. But we are moving ahead and carrying this legacy of love on for all who came before us. And I feel like that's what the World Baseball Classic gives. It allows us to have a moment to truly embrace a sport that each of us loves. So if you were not able to attend the WBC this year, I highly suggest you start putting some money on the side, put it in the HYSA, high yield savings account, and just start preparing for 2029. Do we know where the host cities will be? As of right now, no. If it's going to be in the United States, I just feel like Miami's always going to host. It's always going to host. And if you're looking for great content from Miami, go follow Caitlin, KXTELYN. She works for MLB. She has great content from the World Baseball Classic. And of course, Cheats. He has great content as well. So just so many wonderful things are happening within our sport, and I'm going to continue to deliver the latest and greatest in both professional and collegiate softball and baseball news. And with that, make sure you're always following me for the weekend series. What games will I be tuned into? That's especially important if you are in the area where some of these games will be held. So don't want you to miss out on that, because it really is a great time for us to embrace all that is happening. But if you have any questions about any of this, professional or college, please shoot me a DM. I'm always happy to help people. We know Major League Baseball season is literally a week away from opening day. But if your favorite players don't make the roster, just know they probably will make the AAA roster. And you can attend those games too. So just a lot of ways for us to support and uplift each other in this moment. And I'm so proud to be a part of this community where I can deliver as much information as possible. And with that, thank you for tuning into 10th Inning Talk. I appreciate y'all so much. And thank you for listening to me speak on my passion of this sport, what I've seen, what I enjoyed, and everything else that is to come, because it's always a great day to be a baseball and a softball fan. Bye, y'all.